Well, I know we both have been interested in it for a long time. And speaking for myself when I say this, at my age, my T level dropped quite some time ago. And the primary care physician was prescribing it for me. And of course, they start you out on different avenues of taking it. And finally, I convinced them that the injection was going to be the best way for me, because the lozenges are atrocious, and the different avenues they gave me, it just all weren't as easy as doing the injectable. But honestly, I could tell a difference. But because the dosage was so low, it was really hard to say, if you were going to pin me to the wall, oh yeah, it's a 5% increase in strength, etc., or size, or whatever it is you're looking for. And I couldn't put a measure to it. And it was like, we need to have somebody who has the knowledge that can kind of guide us as to what's the proper way to do it and what's the proper medications to use, etc. So that would be the best way to explain how we kind of got to where we are. It just felt better than going online. And like you said, you quickly go down through the aisle and there's maybe 25 very generic questions. So if you did have any kind of issue that may be beginning to show its head, you wouldn't know. And I doubt very seriously if those on the other end would have a clue either. And I know the fact that, they've asked us to submit blood results every so often, which is something I'm very much in pro of, because I want to know where I stand with everything. And I know that Dr. Rucker will more than take his time to explain it to me in a way that I am going to understand what the differences are, and is that due to natural aging, or girls, or is that because of anything else?
How has TRT with reverse medical improved your overall well-being and quality of life?
Well, energized wise, it keeps you a little more energetic than you normally would be, especially at our age. I'll be 57 tomorrow, and he'll be 69. So we're kind of up there, but it gives you, it keeps you motivated, energized, and you're not so lethargic. It's in that avenue. And to be honest with you, it helps you with your stamina. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the most advantage that we see in it.
It's all the things,
It's a mood elevator too,
that guys, for some reason, are either ashamed or whatever to discuss. And it all has to do with normal bodily functions. And why wouldn't you want to be able to perform at your best? You want to attempt to in everything else that you do, whether it's playing basketball or baseball, football, running track, swimming, working out in the gym. So why would you not try to excel? And at the same time, I think anybody would be pulling the wool over your eyes if they tried to tell you, when they did look in the mirrors and they did notice the physical changes that were happening to their bodies, deep down inside of them, they're all going, yeah, that's what they want. And, we're no different. You want to feel like that. I mean, to me, that's part of the male mystique. I thought we were supposed to be a little bit, mysterious and aggressive and fun.
Question number 3. Are there specific changes you've noticed since beginning the treatment?
that's a good question. More aware of your situation and your more secure in your manlyhood, I guess, but you're more secure in just your everyday activities. I know that might not make sense, but it does. Once you know you do what you do. Like I'm a deputy, so I work at a jail. Just knowing that I have an advantage of strength helps me, do my job just a little bit better. Just being more aware, more cautious, and just, and like I said earlier, your stamina and your energized.
And I'll say, on his coattails, because I totally agree with what he's saying. Wait till he gets up there a little bit closer to where I am now. And it's really like a double slap in the face. Anybody tells you that growing older is fun, I'm here to tell you that it's not. We definitely have our day-to-day challenges. But for me, the biggest difference was, as he mentioned, the rejuvenation, the fact that I felt better, the mood elevation that I had. As crazy as it sounds, it's almost like it's inspiring you to do more. And by doing more, you're helping your joints, you're helping your muscles, you're helping your spinal system, you're helping your bone. I mean, there's nothing I haven't found yet that we're not somehow helping. And in the beginning, all of this, yeah, you've read it, you've looked at it, and you're kind of like, okay, we'll wait and see. And you don't notice it on a daily basis, or in my case, I'm going to say not really on a monthly or quarterly basis. But about the first 6 months into it is when I retrospectively went back and just thought about where I was, what I was able to do, and what I had to really push myself to do. And those things that I had almost come to the point of saying, I'm afraid you're going to have to give this up. You're getting too old for this. And luckily, I'm hard-headed, and along with the help of Dr. Rucker, I'm not overnight able to do everything, but in the last 6 months, I can guarantee you there's been a dramatic improvement in endurance and physical strength. I mean, you can look at me and see I'm not attempting to go for massive bodybuilder size, and I have a good reason for it. I've had 7 major spinal surgeries. So I have a cervical area that from C2 through C7 is fused, and basically from S1 all the way up to T2. So I've had my challenge, and I just don't want to do anything at this stage that could possibly interfere with the progress route that I'm on, versus pushing it too hard and then realizing you've got all these titanium screws screwed into you, and you don't need to be putting any more stress on all of that hardware than you do your own skeletal system. But by the same token, there's still way, way too many benefits to outweigh staying away from doing what you can physically.
Can you share some specific results or improvements you've experienced in areas like energy levels, mood, muscle mass, or other aspects of your health? Sean, I feel like you kind of already started this. Do you want to dive a little bit deeper into that question?
Well, when I get time, I do like to keep in shape. And when I do have the time, it feels better. You feel more in tune with yourself. You feel that you can keep up with the younger generation, but then again, keep up with yourself and people, my age, our age. It helps mentally, it helps you physically, emotionally. And it just helps with all of it. Everything combined it's like, it's very, it's just, and I don't have the word for it right now. Very symmetrical.
How about you, John?
there's really not a whole lot more that I can add to it than, basically what I've already said. But
Synergy.
Just the energy, the peace of mind, the emotional wellness that I feel, you never would give it credit if you just initially thought about doing a program like this, that it would have anything, of a positive thing to help you with. But you soon start feeling better. And when you start feeling better, that's when I get dangerous, when I start doing searches on the web. But I have found enough positive to know I'm not crazy. There is a reason that I do feel the way I do today versus the way I felt a month from today. And it helps me to understand what's going on. I was never a big science geek, into human nature or physiological things, and didn't really have a good understanding of just how much it's not just the organs, but all the other parts that make us up all have an active role, and just one of them can get out of sync, and you don't realize how much it can mess up. And yet, if you've got everything in sync, it might not all be running at 100%. But for someone like me, who I guarantee you at one point was down to, well, below 50%, not by choice, but I had a long road to crawl back from. And very frustrating in the beginning, but then we all have those moments where the light bulb finally goes off in your head. And I realized just how much it really was helping me. There's so much I do physically today that I know I wouldn't be able to if I hadn't been inspired by the medication that I was taking and the programs that I had come up with. So all I can say is for me, it's a win-win-win all around.
You basically have your ups and downs, and it keeps you more up than it does down. And I don't mean that sexually. I just mean it, energized wise, you feel up more than down.
What was your initial impression of the TRT program from Reverse Medical, and how did you feel about starting the treatment?
We both needed to get motivated, and it helped us both for physical, sexually, emotionally. But it did help in all stages of of life, and it did progress slowly and surely, and it did work. But we did want to take it, slow. We're not like eager to get, massive. I don't know how you would word it, but we just like to keep in shape, and it feels better and not easier. It just makes it easier mentally, knowing that, you're getting a little help or a little boost.
I agree with everything that he has said. I know for me, mentally and physically, when I was at my peak, I was in my mid to later 30s and up through mid to just below 50, where I was 5'7" and 242 pounds of solidness. And physically, when things went south, it's a very humbling thing when you realize what's happening physically to you, and it plays a lot with your mental health also. So I'm so much shorter now, going through what I've been through, losing about 3 inches from my total height. But this, as I say, makes you mentally and physically. I don't want to
Aware.
keep saying, yeah, aware is a good word. Aware of how you truly are feeling and how well mentally and physically and everything else, things are just kind of sinking the way you hope that they would.
It helps keep you motivated.
How do Reverse Medical's team guide and support you throughout the process of starting TRT and during the course of the treatment?
Dr. Rucker was very utmost,
He made himself very available to us.
knowledgeable, and he guided us in what to start with, the amount, when to take it, how often. And without that knowledge, we'd be lost.
I know I had quite a few conversations with him. As you can understand, someone of what my physical situation was, it was like I was excited on one hand and yet scared on the other. I wanted to make sure I'm not going to do anything that's going to affect in any kind of negative way all of the progress that I had been making. And he has a way of explaining everything to you so that you don't feel rushed about when you start the program, that you understand, well, you just don't go in there and start doing everything as if you're a full-fledged bodybuilder. You have to warm up and you have to work your way up to it, and medications are included in that comment. But I felt like, I really had a personal guide. I mean, he always made himself available. It was like, here's my text number. If you got any questions, you text me. And understanding that he's going to have appointments and he's got other things going on, I have to say I was very impressed with the timely manner that he always got back to me.
And he always got in touch with us. If we had a small question or a big question, he would always respond regarding a length of time it took to answer.
My journey is a little bit different from his because of all the spinal issues that I'm faced with. Exercising came in slow. I didn't want to start eating like it was bulking season and put on 50 to 75 pounds in the wrong places. So it was moderation. Unfortunately, I grew up a farm boy, and I was accustomed to having a lot of good food to eat to fuel me. And the problem is I'm sitting before you today, just shy of 69, and I still have the appetite of a 16-year-old. That's not necessarily a good thing. But yes, moderation on everything. And then it all comes into play. You start out slowly with the exercise. You start out reasonably slowly on your diet. Otherwise, you're not going to stick to it. And things just evolve. It's like other things you get involved in. After you do them for a while, they become second nature. And you don't even think twice about it.
What advice or insights would you give to others who may be considering TRT with Reverse Medical based on your personal experience?
Well, the first thing that I would say is there has to be a checklist that you could probably find online to just do the basics if you haven't already done so about what are the most common symptoms of low testosterone. And then do a little research to find out, once you start supplementing it with proper HRT, the improvements that you should feel. And then you need to keep an open mind when you start it, because everybody's going to be different. What works for me might not work for him, whether, it's the same medicine or the same dosage or whatever. you got to listen to your body. You got to know what your goals are, and hopefully they're going to play off of one another and help keep you in that support mode.
How do you plan to maintain the positive effects of TRT and a healthy lifestyle moving forward?
Keeping informed by Dr. Rucker and doing what we've been doing, because if it's not broke, don't, you can't fix it. But just keep up the journey. You have to, it has to be, in balance with everything else. So just proper nutrition, diet, and TRT.
I know for me, just the overall, and by overall, I do deliberately include mental and physical statuses. I feel so much better. I mean, you get tired of hearing people say, well, I feel 10 years younger or 20 years younger. I don't know how much younger I feel. I just know I am able to move. I am able to achieve. I am able to accomplish a lot of things that I wasn't able to do 6 months ago or a year ago. And by doing it smartly, not being an idiot and doing the wrong way, it's nice to have these little moments of, oh God, look what I just did. Or, damn, I remember the difficulty I had the last time I tried doing that. And those little moments will more than answer any kind of questions that anyone might have in the back of their head. As for me, I have no plans of coming off of TRT treatment or HRT treatment. It's been too positive. Because of the career paths that we both had chosen. Don't smoke, don't drink. That was one thing that we didn't want to lose our jobs, and just the inkling of something like that, and you could lose your job. But by the same token, physical activities is where we got our enjoyment. And it's nice that I'm able to get back and nowhere near what I was, but see it coming. Just don't know how long that tunnel of light is, but I see the light.